Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LGBTQ Virtual College Fair, sponsored by the New Jersey Association for College Admissions Counselors and powered by StriveScan. Each school in attendance today has taken an active step in building their LGBTQ plus communities. By participating in this fair, they have acknowledged wanting LGBTQ students in their greater communities. Additionally, we have utilized the Campus Pride Index to showcase an objective rating as to where the policies of each institution fall in terms of LGBTQ plus friendliness. If a school participating today has a Campus Pride Index score, you can find the score listed next to their name at strivescan.com/LGBTQ. The Pride Index is always a good place to start with your search, but it should not be the only place you look. So to get started tonight, I'm going to go through some housekeeping tips. So if you have any questions, make sure you throw them down in the Q&A chat box, and make sure that you also address the institution you want to answer that question. So that way there's no questions left throughout the night in there unanswered. Remember that your microphone and your camera are off, so you just have to sit back, relax, and enjoy the information. And then if you want to always look back at the recording for this session or any other sessions that happened tonight, you can do that by going to the website strivescan.com/LGBTQ. And we are going to get started with our first presenter for the evening from Pitzer College, and we'll allow them to get their screen share up. So at this point, I just want to continue to encourage you to put some questions in the Q&A chat box, and we'll leave the floor over to Pitzer.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Gervin, the Associate Director of Admission at Pitzer College, located in Claremont, California. My pronouns are he, him, his. I know we have a quick session, so I only have about 6 minutes to go through Pitzer. But I'll
David, no problem. Not to cut you off, but you're on your, if you go to display settings, you can swap your screen because you're on your notes slide.
There we go.
There we go. Awesome. Cool. I'll start your timer.
Thank you. Never a dull day with Zoom. So hello again. My name is David Gervin. I'm Associate Director. So we'll be able to get through and talk about Pitzer College. So Pitzer is a small liberal arts college. We're located in Claremont, California. So we have about 1,100 students in our undergraduate population. So we're certainly on the smaller end. We were founded in the 1960s at the height of the civil rights movement. So social justice is really in tune with who we are as an institution. I'll talk about how that comes into play with our core values second. But certainly, I think when it comes to being that social justice-minded small liberal arts campus, Pitzer is your best bet. We are located 35 miles east of Los Angeles, so it's nice that you kind of have the best of both worlds location-wise. And we're also part of the Claremont Consortium. So you may be familiar with some of these schools listed right here. Pitzer is a part of the only intentional college consortium in the US. So we are a part of 5 undergraduates as well as 2 graduate institutions. The first being Pomona. So they were an institution that wanted to bring that very popular liberal arts experience of the times on the East Coast to the West Coast. But when California had its massive population boom and all these other schools became giant behemoths, they still wanted to keep in tune with the small liberal arts experience and community. So the goal was to create a new institution, a part of the consortium with shared resources and abilities to interact with one another, a new institution once every few decades. We didn't fully get there. Great Depression might have been a factor. But I think for Pitzer being such a social justice-minded institution, it really comes from the creation of us during the 1960s, during the Chicano movement, social rights movement, civil rights. So when it comes to those core values, it's something that isn't just a buzzword. It is the experience for Pitzer students. And the great thing about the consortium is you can major at any of the 5 colleges, have your Pitzer degree, and take advantage of over 200 clubs and events, resources, our shared library. So it's kind of great because you have that small, tight-knit 1,100 community at Pitzer, while over 5,000 students across the Claremont colleges. And it's very accessible because we're right next to each other. So this is a nice little quick map. I think the joke between Harvey Mudd and Pitzer is the only thing that separates us is a bush. So you really do get to know other students across the consortium, while at the same time really getting to know your professors, staff, and kind of other students at Pitzer. I like to orient, so just to kind of showcase where we are location-wise. We, as I mentioned, 35 miles east, which is roughly about a 40-minute car ride or an hour by train. There are trains that run from downtown Claremont, so it's very accessible for students to get around. And if there's any Disney fans, we're not too far from that. So I think by and large, I wish I could spend probably a whole hour on this, but I think when it comes to the core values, this is what separates Pitzer. We really want to make sure our students leave as better people, but also create better communities, want to bring back that community. It sounds cheesy, but our students want to make the world a better place. And at the same time, really find their passions and fine tune what excites them in the process. So when it comes to social responsibility, intercultural understanding, interdisciplinary learning, student engagement, and environmental sustainability, students that come to Pitzer tend to identify with at least one of them. And we also ask a supplement in the application, so you really get a sense of where you can showcase one. My personal favorite is student engagement. We have a shared governance at Pitzer, so students are on every single governing board. We are the most ranked on Princeton Review, the most politically active student body in the US, and I definitely think it comes from our shared governance. So everything from hiring faculty to making sure that Pitzer was the first school on the West Coast to divest from the fossil fuel industry within our endowment. So full ran of gamut, but students really get a sense of kind of their passions and leaderships in our community. Talking a little bit of snapshot of academics. So we have over 40 majors at Pitzer, in addition to all the majors across the 5 colleges. So for example, we don't have Russian as a major here at Pitzer, but you can also major it within Pomona and still get that a part of your campus. But these are some of the most popular majors at Pitzer. Environmental sustainability, I think, goes hand in hand with the environmental analysis being our most popular major. And the student faculty ratio is 11:1. So just a little bit about the resources for LGBTQ plus students at Pitzer. Also on the Princeton Review, we are ranked 13th as the most friendly LGBTQ plus institution. And we're very proud of that because we want to be a very welcoming campus, kind of going in line with our values as a social justice institution. So 2 of the main big resources is the Queer Resource Center, which is across the 5 colleges. So they really are a way to indicate of working with faculty, staff, hosting events, creating opportunities for fellowships, dialogue, and other ways for students to really engage across the 5 colleges. And then the Rainbow People Collaborative is specific to Pitzer for students that really want to focus on a lot of the more social side aspects, create a safe space and dedicated space on campus for students that really were able to interact with one another. And I think by and large, students are always feeling welcoming at Pitzer, and in addition to the 5 colleges, because it really just is ingrained in our students to really interact and have different dialogues and conversations, while at the same time feeling that safe space for students to have those opportunities. Just a little bit of a snapshot of our overall profile, just so you can kind of get a sense of what our student body looks here at Pitzer. So I wish we had the percentage of students that identify as LGBTQ+, but it's pretty large just anecdotally, I think, when it comes to the students across our campus. So I normally have, I believe, about a minute left. So just quickly touching base about the application process at Pitzer. We have been test options 2003. So for the students in the room, I think that policy is older than all of you. So when it comes to us, we really focus on that holistic approach, valuing you as a person in the admissions process. Certainly academics drive the conversation, but we are absolutely looking for community members. So extracurriculars, the supplemental essays, really getting a sense of a fit of a student is something that we really love about Pitzer. In particular. There's ways that you can submit testing or other information, but I think by and large, your high school transcript and the overall application get a sense of who we think would be the most successful types of students that also identify with our core values and want to be a part of such a welcoming kind of liberal community for the students. And then quickly, we do meet 100% of demonstrated need. Financial aid questions, if you're more interested in that, definitely let me know. But I know that we have some other great schools coming up next. If you are interested in learning more specifically about Pitzer, we have lots of virtual programming in the Zoom world that we're living on. So you can feel free to check out our admissions website for information sessions, tours. I am the particular admissions representative for this area, so you can feel free to also reach out to me as well. But if you happen to have any questions in this session, I'll be happy to answer them through the chat box.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are going to move on to Allegheny College, and we'll give them a second to get set up with their screen share. Just want to continue to encourage everyone to put your questions in the Q&A chat box and make sure that you address the institution that you want to answer. And we'll leave the floor over to Allegheny College.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and welcome to this event. I'm so glad you guys were able to join us tonight. As hello, my name is Eric Stoller, and I'm the coordinator of multicultural recruitment and an admissions counselor at Allegheny College. I'm also joined by Willie Walker, one of our current students, who's going to have a moment to introduce himself first, and I'll actually be passing the mic to him. But I just wanted to take a quick second to introduce myself to you all because I am the New Jersey representative, so definitely feel free to contact me. My contact information down there below, also my recruitment territory, so I recruit also around the New Jersey area. I also just wanted to throw out for all of you to know that I believe Allegheny is an incredibly welcoming and supportive community. I'm sure Willie will expand upon this, but I also wanted to mention that I am one of many, many LGBTQ administrators here on campus that are here to welcome you to the school and to support you not only during your admissions process, but during all 4 years you're here with us on Allegheny's campus. With that being said, I'm going to pass the spotlight over to Willie and allow him to introduce himself and go on with the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you everyone for having me here. I think it's really cool. I'm only 20, and here I am in a college presentation. I'm really thankful for everyone for this opportunity. Just a little bit about me. Obviously, my pronouns are he, him, his, as it says on the presentation. I have my email in there in case if you have any more questions you want me to answer. Right now, I'm pursuing a double major in environmental science and sustainability in music. My specific concentration with ESS, as we call it, is focusing on like the environmental humanities and justice, and my primary instrument is saxophone. A little bit more about just who I am, just so that you all can kind of get to know me a little bit better. I'm from a small rural town outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, go Steelers, 6 Super Bowl rings, all that fun stuff. And one thing I really struggled with before coming to Allegheny was just my own sexual identity. I kind of knew that I identified as cisgender, but I didn't know, where on the spectrum I laid. So before coming to college, I identified as straight, and then I started to slowly realize that I leaned a little bit more gay over the time I was here, and I figured it out finally about like halfway through my first year. I had such a strong support group here. All of my friends are the best, and I officially came out this past December. There's my loving boyfriend on the presentation right there. He's adorable. So if Eric will turn the slide. Basically, one thing that I wanted to talk about a lot and why Eric brought me here is because I wanted to sort of tell you about our community. And we are a small liberal arts college. We only have about 1,800 students here. Our student to faculty ratio is about 11-1. So you really do get to know everybody. And that makes our community very inclusive, very welcoming. I always joke with my friends that I never really felt like I had to truly come out here because it was so accepting. If you're looking for, a warm and welcoming community with so many wonderful people, this is my recommendation for you. Every single person here has their own unique story that because of our small size, we are able to tell. That's one of the reasons why I picked here, is because I didn't just fall into the woodwork and fall into the background. Like I was actually able to stand out with who I am and rediscover who I was. On campus, we have 3 primary clubs that are LGBTQ based. The first one being our Gender and Sexuality Alliance. I am a part of that one. I'm good friends with their president and vice president, as well as most of their board. They host different, LGBTQ activities and games and events and stuff on campus when there's not a global pandemic going on. 2 newer clubs that were just recently introduced a few years ago were the QPOC Club, so Queer People of Color. That's a new one that came out as well, giving that brave space to our queer people of color population on campus. And then the final club being the All Gender Equity Society, or AGES. We really like our acronyms here. They offer a safe and brave space for students who identify as gender nonconforming, non-binary. Basically, the gist of all 3 of these is that they provide a safe, brave, and inclusive space for all students that identify in these regions, as well as also allies of LGBTQ plus people. One other thing that I did forget to put on here is our gender neutral housing. So we have a plethora of housing options on campus that are all gendered housing. So for students that are non-binary, gender non-conforming, or are just seeking an all gendered space, that space is provided for you like tenfold. I myself did not live in gender inclusive housing, but every time I've been there, it has been, it just felt like a place that I could be myself. And it sort of delves into this idea of what is ideas. So our ideas center, as we call it, stands for inclusion, diversity, equity, access, and social justice. Its primary function is it serves as a centralized, safe, and brave space for the underserved students in our campus community. They also are the umbrella organization for what is known as our SILC organization. SILC stands for Cultural Identity Leadership Coalition, including Gender and Sexuality Alliance, Queer People of Color, and the All Gender Equity Society. Those three are included in that, but we have about 15 total organizations, ranging from the Association of Black Culture, the Association for the Advancement of Black Culture, my bad, and Black Girl Magic, Caribbean Students Association, South Asian Student Society, and several more that I could go into on and on. And basically what this organization does is they help facilitate different activities and organizations. You might notice that Eric and I are wearing A here on our shirts that are rainbow. These are actually from our basketball pride night. So our head basketball coach, Kate Costanza, was actually nominated for the inaugural NCAA LGBTQ plus award given to LGBTQ plus coaches in our athletic conference. And she was nominated for that. And so we had that pre-COVID. I think I'm almost out of time. And yes, there's my fun questions slide that I just really like that graphic. If you want to know more about Allegheny as an institution, you can contact Eric or myself through the Q&A again. He is your district manager. Thank you all for being here, and go Gators.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are going to move on over to University of Maine at Machias, and we're going to let them get their screen share up and running. But again, yes, throw those questions in the Q&A chat box throughout the night and make sure that you're addressing the institution you want to answer them. We'll leave it over to the University of Maine at Machias.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. I know you're probably all super Zoom fatigued, so I appreciate you being here. My name is Dorsey Hill. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm an admissions counselor from UMM and a graduate. So I'm just going to be going over a basic presentation tonight, but feel free to throw any questions in the chat. So just some fun facts about the University of Maine at Machias. We are a super small university, only about 750 students total, and we have a student to faculty ratio of 11:1. So super small hands-on class sizes. Our classes typically cap out at 25 students, even when we're not in a pandemic. So you really get to know your professors in a more one-on-one personalized learning style. We're also a super affordable university. 99% of our students receive some form of financial aid, whether that be through merit scholarships, through the FAFSA, work study. We're super affordable. We also have a bunch of different payment plans for students, and they actually crunch the numbers, and our average out-of-state student pays about $7,000 to $8,000 per year, which is pretty great. We've also been ranked one of the top 30 LGBTQ plus campuses in the US, many times by the Campus Pride Index, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. We are 75% in-state student population and 25% out-of-state and international, and 77% of our graduates are employed within their field within a year of graduating. So for where are we? Because we're such a small institution, a lot of people have that question. This is a map of Maine, and UMM is right here on the coast. So we're a bit of a rural campus. So we're the best of both worlds. We're right on the ocean, but we also have wilderness around our campus. So we're perfect for those who are into hiking, canoeing, kayaking, fishing. So lots of fun stuff in the area. One thing we really pride ourselves on is that no matter what program you're in, it is hands-on from day one. As I said, super small class sizes, that gives us the ability to be more one-on-one. So just to explain that, I have a couple examples and pictures here. So the top one, we have the Maine State Game Wardens working with our conservation law students doing mock crime scenes. Down here, we have a biology student who went out with the Maine State bear tagging team for one of their classes. and they're doing den surveys. We have a student making their own paper and learning how to use a press, and our presses on campus were donated by the Stephen King Foundation. Cool fun fact. Then this is a whale. A lot of our marine biology students go out on whale watches, and that's a picture one of our students sent in. And here's just a list of all of our degree programs. So I'm not going to read them all off for you, but feel free to either look them up online or just feel free to ask in the chat about any of them. As I said, they're all hands-on from day one, which is something that's super special. So just to go over LGBTQ plus life at UMM, I want to start off with a quote from choicecollege.net, an article they had about the 50 best colleges for LGBT students. It says UMM has cultivated a reputation for being not only an open campus, but one that has put legislation, resources, and services in place to create an atmosphere that helps queer and trans students thrive. So we pride ourselves on being an inclusive institution and really making sure all of our students are treated equally. So as I said earlier, we've been ranked in the top 30 LGBTQ plus friendly campuses in the US by the Campus Pride Index. We have gender neutral housing and bathrooms available in our residence halls, and we also have gender neutral bathrooms available in all of our buildings around campus. So for those students who are looking, for an all-inclusive, non-gender conforming dorm, or if they are if they are gender non-conforming, we have that available. We also have our 100% Society, which is an active LGBTQ plus student organization on campus. They offer support, events, community education, and activities. So one example of community education, they hosted a seminar for staff and faculty here. It was called Call Them By Their Name. So it taught faculty and staff members the importance of using a student's pronouns. We also have the Rainbow Resource Room on campus, which has literature, services for support, and a safe hangout space for our LGBTQ plus students and allies. We also have Omicron Delta Pi, which is an LGBTQ plus Greek fraternal organization on campus. They are accepting of all genders and sexual orientations. And one really cool thing about UMM is that we typically, in a non-pandemic year, host what is called the Rainbow Ball. It is a prom for LGBTQ plus high school students and college students who don't feel comfortable with their own school proms or dances, or for college students who never really got to have the prom experience because they didn't feel safe or included. We have students come from all over the country, mostly from New England, New York, and New Jersey, but students can come and just have a weekend where they have different educational resources, support, and can just meet other people who are super accepting. So it's a lot of fun. Campus turnout is pretty huge for that. So a lot of really cool. Here's some photos from those events. So for how to apply. So the first step is send in a free application. It's free to apply. And we accept the Common App, the UMM application, or the UMaine system application. And the UMM specific application is mobile friendly, so you can apply right from your phone. We will also need transcripts. If you're a transfer student, we will need transcripts from any of your previous colleges. And then we also need you to fill out the FAFSA. But we are rolling admissions, so there's no hard deadline. So if because of COVID, you're still thinking about applying, don't quite know, you can totally apply at any time, and we are ACT, SAT optional. Please feel free to reach out for any more information. My information is here, including my territories. New Jersey is one of my territories, so I would be who you would speak to with any questions, but I tell students there are no stupid questions. Feel free to reach out about anything, ask all of the questions, and thank you for coming tonight.
Awesome, thank you so much. And we are going to move on over to University of Richmond. And while they get their screen share set up, just want to encourage any questions that you have. Just like Dorsey said, no question is a bad question. So make sure you get that into the Q&A chat box and address the college you want to answer that. And we'll leave it over to University of Richmond.
Hey guys, I'm Priscilla Green. I am the Assistant Director at the University of Richmond. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I have a very short video for you guys. I figured this might be the first time you've heard of University of Richmond, and I wanted you to get a real sense of our community and what we have to offer. In the chat, I'm going to throw in my name and email address so you can email me directly. I'm also going to put a link to our website for Common Ground, which will give you some resources for for our first gen and also our LGBTQ plus folks on campus. So I hope you enjoy.
It starts within you. An idea, a passion, a desire to change the world, and a drive to challenge yourself. It starts within you, and it leads here, to the University of Richmond. Located on a beautiful 350-acre wooded campus just minutes away from downtown Richmond, we are a private university that gives you the best of both worlds, all the economic, professional, cultural, and social resources of a capital city, coupled with the vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community of our suburban college campus. From pristine Atlantic beaches to the Blue Ridge Mountains to our nation's capital, our central location can readily connect you to world-class cultural, recreational, educational, and professional opportunities. But it's the opportunities available right here on campus that are truly impressive. The University of Richmond is home to 3 undergraduate schools: the School of Arts and Sciences, the Robbins School of Business, and the Jepson School of Leadership Studies. However, there are no direct entry programs for any of these schools. What does that mean for you? Well, there's no pressure to immediately declare your major. Once you enroll, you'll have time and access to explore more than 100 majors, minors, and concentrations. Our average class size is only 16 students, all taught by real professors, no teaching assistants. We're also committed to undergraduate research and mentorship opportunities. That means you'll get the kind of personal attention you need when narrowing down your choices. Can't decide on one major? No worries. More than 2/3 of our students pursue multiple areas of study. We admit the most talented, accomplished students. Then we do everything we can to ensure you can bring your talents here. That includes meeting 100% of demonstrated financial need for all admitted students. When you're not in class, well, that's where the vibrant community we mentioned really comes into play. Over 90% of our students choose to live right here on campus. We're also home to more than 180 student organizations, from academic, cultural, leadership, religious, and honor societies, to fine and performing arts, service organizations, and Greek life. If you have an interest in it, chances are there's an organization here waiting for you to join. Searching for something a little more competitive? Look no further than our intramural athletics, or the 17 teams of our NCAA Division I Richmond Spiders. The Richmond experience isn't limited to what you can do on campus, though. 67% of Spiders study abroad through more than 70 programs across 35 countries. And when it comes to internships or research projects, we won't just encourage you, we can help you fund them. The Richmond Guarantee ensures that every undergraduate is eligible to receive up to $4,000 for an unpaid or underpaid summer internship or faculty-mentored research project. And does it pay off? In short, yes. Every year, we host more than 150 career workshops and conduct more than 600 interviews with job recruiters right here on campus. And when you graduate, you'll join more than 51,000 Spiders living and leading in all 50 states and 95 countries around the world. From Wall Street to Hollywood Boulevard to near-Earth orbit, wherever you go, you'll find that Spiders are everywhere, and that's a good thing. Our interconnected web and career preparation helped 94% of our grads find employment within 6 months of graduation. So, what's your idea? Your passion? Bring us your dream and we'll help you achieve it. There's no telling just how far it will take you, but we can tell you where it starts. It starts within you, and it thrives at Richmond.
Like I said, I'll go ahead and put all my information in the chat. So if you guys want to either put something in the Q&A or email me directly, you'll be able to do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we're going to move over to University of Massachusetts Amherst. allow them to get their screen share going. But yes, please use that Q&A chat box. And remember, if you want to look back on this session, you can do so by going to the same link that you registered on.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Rachel Bukowski. I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions for the University of Massachusetts. I'm also an alum of the university. I graduated in 2012 with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in education. All right, so I'm going to start off with an overview. So the University of Massachusetts is the flagship campus for the state of Massachusetts. So we have a little over 24,000 undergrads and then a little over 7,000 graduate students. So for a grand total of about 31,000 students. So I think we're the largest university in this little group that we have here today. And like I said, we are the flagship campus for the state. So there are actually 5 UMASSs total, including a med school, but UMass Amherst is the flagship. So we're sort of like the main public school up here in Massachusetts. We're also ranked as a top public university. So that's a ranking we've had for a few years and something we're really proud of. We have over 300 registered student organizations. We're Division I for athletics, as well as have club sports and intramural sports. And then we are located in Amherst, Massachusetts. So Amherst is actually in the western part of the state of Massachusetts. So we're actually about 2 hours west of Boston, and then we are about 3.5 hours from New York City. So depending where you are in New Jersey, I actually always say New Jersey is like the perfect sweet spot because you are close enough where you can go home for maybe a holiday or a birthday, but you're far enough away where your parents won't just drop in on you on the weekends, which is nice. So like I said, I think Jersey is that sweet spot in terms of distance. And Amherst is very much a college town. We're always voted one of the top college towns in America. And it's, like I said, very much a college town. We're also part of a 5-college consortium, which is funny. I don't think I've ever been on a panel with another, with the other consortium that you heard first. And so we're also part of a 5-college consortium. So the other 4 schools that we are associated with are Smith College, Mount Holyoke College, Hampshire College, and Amherst College. So those 4 schools are actually smaller, private, mostly liberal arts schools, whereas we're the larger public school of the bunch. And how it works is you can take classes at those other 4 schools at no extra cost. It's already included in your tuition. So I always tell students you're paying for 1 school, but you have access to 5, which is pretty cool. And they are also very, very close to us. They are not right next door though, like you heard earlier. So they are within driving distance, but not, right next to each other, like you saw earlier. We also have a free bus system that loops our campus every 5 minutes and then goes to the other 4 schools every 15 minutes. So it's very easy to get to those other 4 schools. And then my favorite rank, and pretty much the only other rank you're going to hear me say, I think this one's the most important, is that we're #1 for best campus dining. And we've had that rank for 5 years in a row. So the food here at UMass is absolutely incredible. I would not exaggerate that. I'm very much a foodie. I take that food very seriously. And like I said, so we're #1 for best campus dining out of the whole country, which is a fun little fact. And then this just kind of goes over a little bit about our demographics here at UMass. So I won't go through each one. You can obviously read those. But the main point I want you to take away here is that we are a very diverse campus. And so you're going to meet students who are very much like you. You're going to find students who are into the same things you're into and who, are into the same activities and studying the same thing. But that also means you're going to find students who are not like you. So you're going to find students from all over the country, from all over the world. Like I said, students from all different backgrounds. And that's actually one of my favorite things about UMass. And I think that's one of the most important things about a college experience is to meet students who aren't like you. And you can really do that here at UMass through our diverse community. So those are just some of the breakdown of the demographics that we have. So before I talk about academics and the application process, I also want to talk about our LGBTQ plus resources. So here at UMass, we have what's called the Stonewall Center, which is basically the resource center for lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, and asexual students. So the Stonewall Center opened in 1985, and it was actually just one of third of its kind back in the 80s. We were just behind 2 other schools. So we were really actually one of the pioneers for LGBTQ plus campus centers across the US. And now there's over 150 of these types of centers all across the US and Canada, which is a pretty cool fact. I also want to mention too, we are 5 out of 5 stars on the Campus Pride Index. We're only one of 44 schools to have that rating out of 400. And then we're actually only one of 7 to have that rating out of the other colleges that are here tonight out of the whole fair. So the Stonewall Center provides a number of different resources. I couldn't list them all on this slide, but I did try to list some of the most important ones. So I just want to point out that they do have special programming, not only for the UMass community, but also for the surrounding area and the Pioneer Valley. So we're in this little, like I said, western part of the state. And so the Stonewall Center really provides resources for not just UMass students, but the 5 college consortium, and then as well as the surrounding high school students and as well as the whole area. They also provide training sessions and advocacy, as well as events, student groups. I'm going to actually show you a couple examples of those on the next slide. The Stonewall Center is also a student employer, so you can actually work for the Stonewall Center. They hire students each year that help with different resources there. We also have a mentorship program, so you can work as a mentor and mentor freshmen, first-year students. It's like a, not only a volunteer organization, but just a way to connect with other students that are like you on campus. And then also, I just wanted to point out some of the student groups that we have here. That's just a few of the student groups that we have at UMass. There's many more, but those are kind of some of the most popular. The Pride Alliance is actually the largest undergraduate LGBTQ IA+ student group at UMass, and it sponsors weekly educational, cultural, and social events. So those are just a few examples. And then there's a couple of the examples I mentioned earlier in terms of the events and different workshops that we have. And I'm going to run out of time. I knew this was going to happen. I try to talk fast, but it never works. These are our schools and colleges. So these are the different majors that we have. There's over 100 majors that fall within these schools and colleges. And then this is our application timeline, which you can find more about online. These are the application requirements, which you can also find out more online. And I'll try to talk more about those in the chat if you have questions. And then I want to leave you with the contact, which is my email. I am the rep for New Jersey, so you can go ahead and email me directly. And then I wanted to put the resource contact information for Stonewall Center as well. Again, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. And thank you again for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And our final presenter for the evening is going to be from the University of San Francisco. And we'll let them get their screen share pulled up. So you have some time still to pop some questions into the Q&A chat box, and we'll leave the floor over to University of San Francisco.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Ortiz Garcia. I'm one of the assistant directors in our Office of Undergraduate Admission. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm really excited to be here with y'all tonight. Not only do I work at USF, but I'm also an alumna of the university. I graduated in 2016 with my degree in psychology, and hopefully I'll be a double dawn in about a month or so when I graduate with my master's degree from USF as well. So if you have any questions on undergrad, grad, can definitely talk about that. But along with all those different kind of identifying factors about myself, I also identify as being queer. So this is really exciting for me to be able to talk with y'all tonight. And so wanted to start off with just sharing where we are in the city of San Francisco. So if you've ever been to the city, we're located right in the middle. We're about 3 miles from downtown and about 3 miles from the beach. So really great location for a lot of our students, especially because you're not in the middle of San Francisco where it feels overwhelming, but you're still far away enough where it feels like a college campus, you know, where USF begins and ends. So I think that's a really great happy medium for a lot of our students, especially those students looking for a city experience. And then here is a breakdown of our student population at USF. So we are currently ranked 5th in the United States for campus ethnic and racial diversity in the United States. So pretty diverse institution. I would say it really does mirror and reflect San Francisco and the greater Bay Area. So you can see here on the screen a breakdown of the different students who are represented at USF. We are also a pretty big institution for first generation college students. So about 32% of our first incoming class freshmen are first generation college students, so first in their family to graduate high school and then go to college. And so we have a lot of different types of diversity, not only related to racial and ethnic, but also socioeconomic status, geographical, and we have a pretty big LGBTQ+ community at USF, especially considering being that we are in San Francisco, California. I know that sometimes students are a little bit hesitant to consider USF because we are a Catholic Jesuit institution. So Sometimes, that long-standing history in terms of being a Catholic institution, as well as being in San Francisco that has a really vibrant LGBTQ plus community, can sometimes raise some questions and concerns for students. But I think definitely being in the city of San Francisco and being a Jesuit institution, we are definitely forging the way to be more inclusive every day, and always trying to encourage others in higher education to also follow and do the same. So here are some of the resources for our LGBTQ plus community at USF. So we have a space on campus, the Gender and Sexuality Center. It is under the umbrella of the Cultural Center, so part of a larger network at USF, but being in the Gender and Sexuality Center is specific for our LGBTQ plus students who have questions, concerns, are here to celebrate and want to partake into the events that they put on for our students by students as well. We also have PRISM, which is our LGBTQ plus club at USF. So really great involvement from our PRISM community on campus, a lot of visibility. So something that students are really excited to join and being able to attend different events on campus. We also have gender inclusive housing at USF. So if you identify as gender nonconforming, gender non-binary, trans, however you may identify, or if you're looking for a housing assignment that's a little bit more inclusive, that's something that you can definitely find at USF. So it'll be a question on your housing application. If you're interested in that, you can definitely opt in. Something that we're really excited about that only a few of the Jesuit or Catholic institutions in the US actually offer. So something that if something you're looking for, you can definitely find. And then we also have the LGBTQ plus faculty and staff caucus. And so that's something that I really want to highlight because there is a lot of involvement from the queer staff and faculty on campus as a support system as well. So again, a lot of visibility among staff and faculty that are going to make those connections with our students at USF. And then we also have CAPS, which is short for the Counseling and Psychological Services Department. And so this department is really special because they do offer different types of community working groups, any kind of resources that you may need while you're at USF and even after. So something that we always want to highlight for all of our students at USF. And in terms of campus life and thinking about being involved, there is over 100 different organizations at USF that you can choose from. So again, PRISM was one of those organizations, but there's culturally focused clubs, service-based, faith-based organizations. There's also Greek life on campus. If you wanted to join a sorority or a fraternity, we have different kinds. So we have our social as well as academic and professional sororities and fraternities on campus. I would say campus life is definitely something that students look forward to. Something that you'll find is really special because I would say it's pretty hard to find someone who's not involved in at least one organization at USF. So there's always this desire and excitement to get involved on campus. And you're able to find out what organizations we have at USF through our involvement there, which happens in the fall and the spring. We also are a Division I school, so if you're interested in playing a D1 sport, we have basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis, volleyball, track, and cross country. So if you are interested in a D1 sport, making sure you're connecting with your admission council to let them know your interest so we can connect you to our coaches on campus. And then in terms of the majors and programs at USF, we're broken down by 5 different schools. Our top majors on campus are psychology, biology, nursing, business, and computer science. Those are our top 5 majors at USF. We also have a direct entry program to our nursing program. So that is our most competitive and our top programs at USF. We also have a direct entry program if you're interested in getting your master's and your bachelor's in nursing, or if you want to get your master's and your bachelor's for teaching, we have the dual degree program as well. So really amazing programs you can join and be a part of, but we have over 40 majors and over 40 minors to choose from. On campus, we're considered a medium-sized school. Our class average is about 23 to 25 students per class. Typically, if you're in an introductory course, it'll be about, I would say, 40 students or so, but on average, 23 to 25. And then here are the steps if you are interested in applying to USF. So making sure you are submitting your application by either deadline, early action, early decision, or regular decision. We are on the common application, so making sure you're filling that out. And we are test optional. So we actually went test optional even before the pandemic, and we will continue to do so. So just know that includes engineering and nursing as well. And then this is my colleague, Candace Adams. So she couldn't be here today, so I am filling in for her. So she is the representative for New Jersey. So if you are interested in learning more about USF or you want to connect with Candace, go ahead and take down her email and let her know any questions that you may have. You can also follow us on Instagram in case you want to check out when we have our student takeovers and keep up to date with different timelines that are coming up and just seeing what's going on our campus. But thank you so much for having me today, and hopefully we can connect in the future. Thank you.
All righty, awesome. Thank you everyone for presenting tonight. And thank you to our attendees for coming here and listening to these awesome institutions and all that they have to offer. So I just want to go over a few quick closing notes that there's going to be a quick survey once your window closes. It's going to be 4 questions. Please fill that out, and that'll help us very much for future references. And also, if you want to check out the recording for this or any other sessions, you can go back within about a week to strivescan.com/LGBTQ. Good luck on your college admissions process and your college search. We wish you all the best, and please, please, please visit, check out all these amazing schools. Other than that, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Take care.